Pip is a young orphan who lives with his sister, known as Mrs. Joe, and her husband, Joe Gargery, the strong but gentle blacksmith. As Pip visits his parents' graves, he has a terrifying meeting with Magwitch, an escaped convict. Pip helps the convict, but he is eventually recaptured and taken back to prison. Pip continues his simple existence as a poor but honest boy, but he cannot help feeling unhappy with his place in life. Pip is taken to meet Miss Havisham, an eccentric lady who has shut herself away ever since her wedding was called off at the last minute. She never leaves her house, still wears her wedding dress, and despises all men. Pip also meets Miss Havisham's adopted daughter Estella, who is being brought up by Miss Havisham to break men's hearts. Estella therefore treats him cruelly, especially when she talks about Pip's background as a common boy. Pip makes many visits to them and gradually falls in love with Estella. He dreams of becoming a gentleman so that he can be worthy of her. As a reward for his visits, Miss Havisham pays the money which allows Pip to become Joe's apprentice. He works in the forge with Joe and Orlick. Though it is not what he really hoped for, Pip becomes a steady worker trying to educate and improve himself with the help of a local girl, Biddy. During this time, Mrs. Joe is savagely attacked and becomes unable to care for the family anymore. Biddy moves into the family home to help him out. One day Pip, who is by now a young man, is visited by a London lawyer, Mr. Jaggers. Jaggers tells Pip that he has come into a fortune and must go to London to become a gentleman, improve his education, and take up a higher class life. Pip convinces himself that the money has come from Miss Havisham and that this means that she plans for him and Estella to be a couple. Pip travels to London where Mr. Jaggers, the lawyer, will be his guardian until he legally becomes an adult. He lives with Herbert Pocket, a young man related to Miss Havisham, who teaches him how to behave like a gentleman by developing good manners. Pip is a quick learner and is soon able to mix with people from the upper classes such as Bentley Drumley. During this time Pip repeatedly meets Estella, falling ever more deeply in love with her. Unfortunately, in his efforts to win Estella and impress people, Pip begins to look down on others. He becomes ashamed of his origins, neglecting his family in the process. He is even uncomfortable when he returns to attend his dead sister's funeral. He starts to spend too much money and soon he and Herbert are in debt. Pip begins to feel that he is being followed. One dark stormy night he answers his door to a ragged figure who turns out to be Magwitch, the ex-convict Pip helped out as a child. Magwitch has spent many years in Australia, transported from England on pain of death should he return. However, he has made a great deal of money and has risked everything to come back and tell Pip that he is the mystery benefactor who gave Pip all of his money. Pip is horrified, feeling that the money is contaminated, and, even worse, finds that his assumptions about Miss Havisham wanting him and Estella to be together have been wrong all along. Pip, Herbert and Wemmick, Mr. Jaggers's clerk, form a plan to get Magwitch safely out of the country. They aim to row along the river and catch a boat which is leaving England. At this time Pip also hears that Estella is going to marry Bentley Drumley. He pleads with her not to do this, but she is determined. She rejects not only Pip but also Miss Havisham. As Pip does not wish to use Magwitch's money, he asks Miss Havisham to help Herbert set up in business. She agrees, but in a tragic accident her decayed wedding dress catches fire and she is severely burned. Mrs. Joe's mystery attacker is revealed as Orlick. The escape plan for Magwitch is carried out, but they are caught at the last minute. Magwitch falls in the river, is hurt, captured and returned to prison. Shortly afterwards he is sentenced to death, but he is dying anyway. Pip has worked out that Estella is Magwitch's long-lost daughter and tells him that he has always loved her. Pip no longer has any money as it has been confiscated. As the earnings of a criminal, he also has severe debts. Pip falls ill and is nursed back to health by the ever-faithful Joe. He also pays off what Pip owes. After this, Pip returns to his original home at the blacksmith's. He intends to marry Biddy, but he is too late. Joe has already proposed to her. Many years later, Pip meets Estella again. She is now a widow, and the way seems clear for Pip to pursue his lost love again.